Hi everyone, what's going on? So I'm very excited to come back to my little dog pony show here. That is my YouTube channel. So I have been discussing a subject quite recently that I wanted to get right into because I found it to be quite interesting, the subjects at hand. Now this episode is going to be a little bit longer than usual because I am diving into three subjects at hand, which are three playmates. Now, all of these playmates are from the 60s that I'm talking about, and why I'm making this video is because I find it very strange that three playmates from the 60s all died in the year 1991, pretty much months from each other. So I wrote a list down so I would not forget my subjects. So Miss August 1965, which is Linda K. Balcom. She died on April 15th, 1991, and the cause of death is unknown, which I find to be odd, honestly, in this day and age of the world of the internet, because usually so many things are out there, and a lot of people say, well, maybe their families are private or just want to move on, but I want to say 90% of the playmates, there usually is some sort of cause of death. Sometimes the dates are not always right, but she was an unknown death is what it was listed, and I found that to be strange considering she was a public figure for Playboy, and she died in Flint, Michigan is what it is, basically all I could find on her. So the next one I'm going to get into is Sally Sorrell, who is Miss March 1960, and again her death is also unknown. She died 1 month later on May 1st, 1991, which I find that to be I don't know, a little bit odd. I'm laughing because these are not coincidences, and I'm kind of happy to have a platform to share these with you guys. And I will get into another one here. She also died in 1991. She was Miss April 1964, Ashlyn Martin, which was born Laura Lynn Hale. Now, Laura Lynn Hale is probably the most interesting subject piece out of all of these playmates. I think it is very strange that three playmates died, all from the same era, pretty much. The 60s playmates all dying in 1991. Now, before I get into Ashlyn Martin, who is Miss April 1964, I wanted to dive into 1991. If you Google Playboy 1991 scandal, just put in those words and you will see the subject I'm talking about. In October, one of the playmates was suing Playboy for, well, just Google it and then come back to this video. I'm not sure if we can say certain words like that on YouTube, but that was all happening in 1991. October, I do believe, was pretty much, I don't know, how do you describe that scandal with Playboy, but if you do research it, 1991 had a lot of scandals for Playboy, and I do believe they were getting hit with a $70 million lawsuit by another playmate, and I just find a lot of this information to be very odd. Miss August 1965, and then Miss March 1960, and then Miss April 1964, all pretty much die within months of each other. Now, I don't like to think these things are coincidences by any means. I noticed that Playboy does have quite a pattern with it when it comes to cover-ups or whatever, if you will, and that's just a personal opinion, by the way. And everything I'm stating, or not even stating, I should say, I want to say that everything in this video is pretty much an opinion coming from a personal perspective on public knowledge of things that are out there, and just giving my personal twists and kind of coming up with my own personal opinion and a resolution to maybe some of these, because a lot of them have been untalked about for quite some time. And I do apologize for the constant coughing. Mary Jane has been keeping me up today. So I wanted to dive into Ashlyn Martin, who was born in Laurelland Hale. I wanted to say again, her death out of all of them is probably the most sinister in my opinion. It happened on May 1st, 1991. Now I am going to read a little bit of a news article for you guys and give you a little more information on Ashlyn Martin, who was pretty much associated with Playboy and a model for them. And I'm going to read a little bit of a newspaper clipping that I stumbled upon, and I wanted to say that this was a little bit more harder to find, and I have researched so many Playmates for quite some time now, ones that I would like to think, in my personal opinion, are maybe more sinister or just basically not talked about. So I'm going to read this small newspaper clipping, which I found to be very interesting, and this is a personal opinion on Laurelland Hale, so I'm just going to read it and then give my thoughts afterwards. So the news article is from the Los Angeles Times. I do believe it was 8 years prior to Laurelland Hale's death, and it said sarcoma in remission. Bader said his Kaposi sarcoma is in remission now, and he is working toward keeping it that way. His spiritual counselor, Laura Hale, teaches the science of mind philosophy. Now, I wanted to say, sometimes in the group I talk about these subject pieces before I post them, but I thought when I first read this, I just vaguely remembered the science and teacher, but I thought she was a science teacher, but apparently she is a spiritual counselor. Now, I'm not too sure what a spiritual counselor entails, or what that has to, or what one has to qualify for a spiritual counselor, but I will get back to reading this article. Since I blabbered, I will read it over again. Bader said his Kaposi sarcoma is in remission now, and he's working toward keeping it that way. His spiritual counselor, Laura Hale, teaches the science of mind philosophy. I have it in remission now that we are not spirits. I'm sorry, I misread that. I have recognition now that we are not our bodies, we are spirits, Bader said. Our minds and bodies are temporary. Bader is working with his physician, Dr. James Bleekman of Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, which I do believe is located in Los Angeles, in a holistic medicine approach, enshrining a new diet of mostly vegetables and fresh fish and grains and herbal teas. Davy, who runs a catering firm, makes fresh juice and 12 vegetables every morning and cooks all the meals. Bader meditates every morning, and once or twice a week gets together with Marty James for meditations. James has started a Los Angeles area Shanty Foundation. Now, I thought that was very interesting that she teaches the science of mind, and I did some research on the science of mind, and it's pretty much a religion, and it deals with science. So I find this very odd that she, Ashlyn Martin, born Laura Hale, actually took her own life. That is out of the 3 subjects from 1991, that is the only one that pretty much tells you what happened and gives the cause of death for her. So I'm not too familiar on the sarcoma in remission or what that even is, but it sounds like she was using a lot of plant-based and earth-based, and she's, very spiritual, and she's a spiritual counselor. So I found that to be very good, and I will put a picture of the newspaper article right up if I haven't already. Now, I found that online, and the first time I did research Laura, it did not come up for the first few times, and then when I went back at it, it came up, and then when I researched it again, it didn't come up. So I noticed every time that I was mentioning it or talking about it on some platforms, a lot of the information wouldn't come up, so I used a different search engine, and it came up finally, and that was probably one of the big reasons of the delay for this video. So I'm going to read also another newspaper article about Ashlyn Martin, and this is a newspaper article talking about her as Ashlyn Martin. Now, before I get into it, I'm going to try to read it with these guys on. Alright, so I found this very cool newspaper clipping, and I'll post it, and I will try to read it to my best of my knowledge. I don't think I can with these right now because of the newspaper is, the article I should say, is very old and worn out from what I found, and it's just an article just saying she went to a college campus to sign some autographs. So if you're interested in taking a peek, she went to the Indiana University to sign autographs, I should say. Okay, so that's what she was doing, and it's a very old newspaper article, I do believe from 1965, so I'll post a picture of that up here. And the other subject pieces that I did talk about in this video, I could not find anything else on Miss August 1965 or Miss March 1960. Now, Sally Sorrell, there's nothing about her. There's bare bones on both of these ladies, if you ask me. Not a lot going on with those causes of death wise. And I wanted to say, I don't think there's such a thing as coincidences. I mean, all these happened in short periods of time in 1991. So you take what you will with it, and this is just a personal opinion of mine. I'm not going off any facts. I'm just going off basically public newspapers, articles, and sometimes blogs if I come across them. Now, I did find that Ashlyn Martin to be the most sinister case of them all, because it sounded like she had quite a bit going on, and she was a smart woman, and I did research a lot of the science of mind, and it seems like it was a very happening kind of religion in the early 90s and maybe late 80s. It seemed to come out a lot more then, and I do believe there is some churches still open like those of sorts, so you could just take a peek at that. But Ashlyn Martin is the one that really strikes a chord with me, because she's trying to help this guy in remission, and then 8 years later she dies. Now, there's nothing really after this article that came out. There's really hardly any information on her besides that and a couple other things related to Playboy, so I'm confused at what is even going on, and even if this is confirmed, if she did take her own life. But the other two cases, Linda Belcom and Sally Sorrell, they don't have any causes of death, and both of these, or all three of these women that died, I do believe it is kind of odd that they all died months from each other, and they're all from the same era, which I find to be very interesting. Now, the Laura Lynn Hale situation, I would like to think maybe doesn't, from my theory and opinion, doesn't stem, her death does maybe not stem from a Playboy related topic, if you will. And I feel like she had a lot going on, and she knew quite a few people, so it's a shame that I could not research more of the people that were listed in the article. Some of the people that she was working with, I did give them a glance a little bit, but no information on anybody else in that article I read to you about Ashlyn Martin, aka Laura Lynn Hale. Now, I'm looking over here on my paper because I did not want to get all three of these mixed up, because they are from the same era, and like I said, that's the one thing I noticed with Playboy is that they do have a pattern, if you will, on certain things and certain playmates that are dying and certain subjects that are not even talked about, like my Alyssa Bridges article that I did, I should say my video. I noticed when I dug deep into Alyssa Bridges, I looked at the autopsy, and yeah, there is a lot of, in my opinion, perhaps or perhaps not a sinister situation there, but there's little evidence about Alyssa Bridges. Now, I'd like to say to everybody, thanks for tuning into my channel, and before I wrap up this video, I wanted to also say that the movie that I'm going to be in, which is Killcast by SRS Cinema, there is a movie trailer out. If you just go and quickly go on YouTube and type in Killcast movie, you'll see the trailer by SRS. I'll be in it. I just have I want to say a minute or two clip in it, and I'm very excited. I won't be watching it, but I'm sure you guys will tell me if it's great or if it sucks, and I'm open to hearing all sorts of opinions and taking some advice if you guys thought it was good or not. And I also wanted to add, if anyone's interested in knowing, that I am moving to California so I can study the law and become a lawyer, and that is what I am going to do. That's a personal update on me. I'm very excited to do the whole damn Mary Jane. I'm very excited to do the whole California move and study the law, and I feel like California has quite a few more opportunities, or I should just say America has quite a few more opportunities than Canada does, because this program that I'm going to be following and hopefully succeeding in for the law degree is about a 2-year program, and I don't know, I feel like in Canada we would not have that, and you know, I am trying to become an actor, so, but I also wanted to get a law degree so I could have something a bit more solid of a backup, and I think I would make a dynamite lawyer, because I can be very well poised when I want to be. Sometimes I notice in the group, sometimes I come off as outlandish or, you know, say crazy things, but altogether I'm very smart and definitely want to win and have a career in life. And hey, who knows, maybe I'll have 2 careers, like maybe I'll become a movie star and a lawyer. But I feel like the lawyer stuff is definitely going to be a good backup for me if anything does fail, which I don't think it's going to, but I always wanted to do law shit, and I'm going to. So I don't know, I thought for a while there that I kind of gave up the whole California dream there for a while. I figured, well, what's the point? You know, for many years I wanted to go there for I don't know how long, but it's great to finally have 2 good reasons to go there, to become a lawyer and to maybe do more movies. So don't forget to check out Killcast. The movie trailer is on YouTube, and I'm unknown, just like these deaths. I don't know the release date. It's unknown, I should say. So I don't know why they don't tell you the release date during the trailer at the bottom of the description, which would be helpful for me to tell you guys, because you're probably wondering when it's coming out, like I am. I do think they have a fundraiser up where you can buy an early copy of the DVD or Blu-ray, so just Google that too, Killcast movie, and I'm sure it will pop right up. So that's a little bit of a personal update for me. I was going to stay here in Canada for a little while, getting off topic, but I was going to stay in Canada for a long time, and then I realized the hard opportunities I'm having here and the battles and constant trying to survive and just get work in general, and it's a happy thought to know that I'm going to be going there and doing my passion projects like acting and doing the law degree thing. So I'm very nervous at the same time, but I'm also very pumped and excited to go out and venture around and get some sun, because I've been living in Canada pretty much my whole life, so I've never really experienced a winter with sun. It's mostly with snow and cold and rain and gray clouds every fucking day. And I tell you, it does get to you, because in Canada there's like 6 months of just straight up winter, and it really does get to me. I'm not the biggest fan. I hate to sound like an old person, but I'm very excited to move to California for that reason alone, and to experience a Christmas there. It's going to be kind of weird because no snow on Christmas. I don't know, as a Canadian, I'm so used to seeing snow at least outside on Christmas, so that's gonna be kind of a mind fuck for me, going down there not seeing any snow on Christmas. Or who knows, maybe global warming might kick in and give us some snow. All jokes aside, I wanted to say thanks so much for tuning into my video, and if you want to give me a like, subscribe, blah blah blah. I hate to sound cliche, but it would be very nice to get a like from you, and maybe even a comment. Tell me your thoughts on this, and please give me a sub to your daily life. I will be doing this weekly, and I also wanted to say before I go, you guys should go and get a copy of this. I will give you the description of the website where you can go get this. Thanks to Homeboy for donating to my fundraiser. Now, if you want to just go get a copy of this, this will be something you will not regret. If you are looking to have a good laugh, then I suggest you get some of his books. Mr. John Wayne was very nice enough to donate to my fundraiser, so I thought I'd give him a quick shout out. This is what it looks like, and maybe you should get a copy on Amazon, or get a copy from his website, which will be in the description below. And I also wanted to quickly add, before I ended this video, that justafrenzy.com, I gave an update there not too long ago, just stating that I'm taking a pause on my merchandise website for now, so I will have it back up and running. I'm hoping sometime in October, so just keep in mind, I noticed I mentioned Just a Frenzy a couple times in my videos, and sometimes I put them in the description. But if you do go to justafrenzy.com, just realize that my website is on pause for just a little while, and I'm getting some new products in, and I'm hoping to sell them. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I better stop gabbing. And thank you for tuning in, and I hope you come back again. And I will have more Playboy Mysteries for you guys soon, so tune in next week for another Playboy Mysteries, and thanks for watching.